Genesis chapter 14, verses 1 to 24. Verse 1. In the days of King Amraphel of Shinar, King Arioch of Ellasar, King Chedorlaomer of Elam, and King Tidal of Goiim. Verse 2. These kings made war with the King Bera of Sodom, King Birsha of Gomorrah, King Shinab of Admah, King Shemeber of Zeboiim, and the king of Bela, that is Zoar. Verse 3. All these joined forces in the Valley of Siddim, that is the Dead Sea. Verse 4. 12 years they had served Chedorlaomer, but in the 19th year they rebelled. Verse 5. In the 14th year of Chedorlaomer, and the kings who were with him came and subdued Rephaim in Ashteroth-karnaim, the Zuzim in Ham, the Emim in Shaveh-kiriathaim. And verse 6. And the Horites in the hill country of Seir, as far as El-paran on the edge of the wilderness. Verse 7. Then they turned back and came to En-mishpat, that is Kadesh, and subdued all the country of the Amalekites, and also the Amorites who live in Hazazon-tamar. Verse 8. Then the king of Sodom, the king of Gomorrah, the king of Admah, the king of Zeboiim, and the king of Bela, that is Zoar, went out and they joined battle in the Valley of Siddim. Verse 9. With King Chedorlaomer of Elam, King Tidal of Goiim, King Amraphel of Shinar, and King Arioch of Ellasar, 4 kings against 5. Verse 10. Now the Valley of Siddim was full of bitumen pits, and as the kings of Sodom and Gomorrah fled, some fell into them, and the rest fled to the hill country. Verse 11. So the enemy took all the goods of Sodom and Gomorrah and all their weapons, all their goods, and went their way. Verse 12. They also took Lot, the son of Abraham's brother, and who lived in Sodom, and his goods, and departed. Verse 13. Then one who had escaped came and told Abram the Hebrew, who was living by the oaks of Mamre, and the Amorite, brother of Eshcol and of Aner. These were allies of Abram. Verse 14. When Abram heard that his nephew had been taken captive, he led forth his trained men, both in his house, 318 of them, and went in pursuit as far as Dan. Verse 15. He divided his forces against them by night, and he and his servants, and routed them and pursued them to Hubah, north of Damascus. Verse 16. Then he brought back all the goods, and also brought back his nephew Lot with his goods, and the women and the people. Verse 17. After his return from the defeat of Chedorlaomer and the kings who were with him, the king of Sodom went out to meet him at the valley of Shaveh, that is the king's valley. Verse 18. And King Melchizedek of Salem brought out bread and wine. He was pressed to God Most High. Verse 19. He blessed him and said, Blessed be Abram by God Most High, maker of heaven and earth. Verse 20. And blessed be God Most High, who has delivered your enemies into your hand. And Abram gave him 1/10 of everything. Verse 21. Then the king of Sodom said to Abram, Give me the persons, but take the goods for yourself. Verse 22. But Abram said to king of Sodom, I was sworn to the Lord God Most High, maker of heaven and earth. Verse 23. That I would not take a thread or a sandal thong or anything that is yours, so that you might not say, I have made Abram rich. Verse 24. I will take nothing but what the young men have eaten, and the share of the men who went with him, Aner, Eshcol, and Mamre. Let them take their share. Genesis chapter 14, verses 1 to 24, New Revised Standard